I used to be a huge Evanescence fan when I was a teenager. In fact, they were the very first band that I ever saw live. Every once in a while I'll go down memory lane and I'll start watching videos of the time I stumbled upon Everybody's Fool. I saw myself thinking, wait, was Amy Lee, the lead singer from Evanescence, not like other girls? Welcome to Vanessa Jupiter's Sitting Room. Today we are talking about Everybody's Fool by Evanescence. The central theme of Everybody's Fool is quite clearly that not expressing our true emotions is very toxic. I'm going to call the main character of the video Amy Lee. So in this video, we have Amy Lee, who is a model. She needs to perform a lot of happiness, she needs to perform flawlessness, wear a lot of makeup, have perfectly done hair, and have dolls made of her. But that is not her true self. Her true self is a depressed young woman. The central theme of the video is hiding your true emotions, and pretending to be someone you're not is going to eventually eat you up inside. That is made quite explicit by the lyrics in the chorus. She repeats time and again, she got everybody fooled, convincing everybody else that she was this flawless version of herself, But in the final verse, she goes and says, now you're everybody's fool. So this faking, this pretense of being someone that she wasn't, eventually ate her up so much inside that now she's just a toy for everyone to play with. That made her sadder. And I think that the video delivers that message quite well. But now we need to talk about something that is kind of a problem all over Evanescence. There is this version of Amy Lee, which is in a very dark place, and that is not framed as necessarily super undesirable. That is framed as the more authentic version of Amy Lee. So what I'm touching on is the glamorization of mental illness. And I want to make this very clear before I move on. Evanescence has given a way for a lot of depressed teenagers to find some way of express their own emotions. And this is a good thing. I do think that Evanescence did work towards destigmatization of mental illness in their videos. Yes. However, they also glamorized a very narrow version of what being depressed and what being mentally ill looked like. The biggest offender here, of course, being the Lithium music video, but Everybody's Fool is very much that as well. I think that the narrative of Evanescence and their impact towards mental illness can be nuanced. As I already mentioned, one of the things that struck me while rewatching Everybody's Fool was this idea that maybe Amy Lee was the not like other girls girl. So let's move into that. On the surface, the video of Everybody's Fool certainly subverts the trope of the not like other girls girl versus the other girl. Because this is not two girls pitted against each other at all. This is the same young woman who has two versions of herself. And one of the two versions is the general expectation of the patriarch. If someone is imposed this femininity, this hyper-femininity upon, that is obviously bad. And not only is it bad, but it can lead them into being depressed. Again, central message, good. This dichotomy within the same character could very much be seen as an early example of a subversion of the not like other girls trope, if it weren't for one small scene that happens in the elevator. Amy Lee is in a hotel elevator and she's not wearing any makeup. She has a hoodie on, and there are two young women who are blonde and who are wearing a bunch of makeup, and they just happen to be like giggling and talking to each other, and they kind of make fun of Amy Lee. Remember how I said that this video isn't about a not like other girls type girl being pitted against one other girl? Well, the video has a scene that is that. The video could so easily have had a message of like girls who like wearing a lot of makeup and who like having perfectly done hair can have so much more going on under the surface. This could have been the central message of the video, but I do think that the elevator scene ends up destroying that message a little bit. It is what it is. Before COVID-19, I worked with kids, sometimes in drag. So I was very much putting myself up to discussing gender and gender expression with kids. And I would hear sometimes little girls talking about how they didn't like pink, and they didn't like femininity, and they didn't like makeup, and how they felt like they were the only girl who didn't like feminine things. We need to listen to kids, and we need to listen to what they're saying. And as long as they aren't being hurtful to other kids, let them say and think whatever they want about their gender roles and expectations. And I think that we really do need to be more loving towards kids. And we do need to be more open to what kids tell us about their own relations to gender and gender stereotypes without pushing anything onto them. I'm a drag queen. Hyperfemininity and hyperfeminine expression is part of what I do artistically. And I, of course, think that I am presenting a very authentic version of myself. How can that be when I am being so curated, where I am putting filter upon filter upon filter? Everything that we do is a performance. How I engage socially with people is also a performance. This is the case, I believe, for everyone. We all need to choose how we are going to engage with other people and how we are going to be presenting ourselves to other people, and that presentation is going to change according to who we are talking to and how we are talking to them and about what we are talking to them. So all this talk about wanting to be authentic doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This is where my brain went after thinking about the not like other girls and the other girl and everybody's fool and the two versions of Amy Lee, one of which is supposed to be the most authentic one, right? With that, I really want to stress the fact that like we all are trying our best to perform our emotions and our feelings in the best way possible, and we are trying to be authentic in this performance, or at least most of us. Many people will do this authenticity in ways that maybe I don't understand. Earlier I said that we should be all more loving towards kids, right? But also I do want to stress that I think we should all be more loving towards everyone trying to express emotions. Like if someone expresses emotions in a way that maybe doesn't resonate with me very much, I can still try to understand their way of expressing how they're feeling. Acknowledging that all of it is performative is part, for me, of this process of understanding other people better, and part of this process of being more loving. So there. Just love each other more and just be kinder. This is the message of the video. It's just be kinder. How cute. So As you saw, the video ended up veering off into directions that might have been a little bit unexpected. The scripting process for this one was considerably different. I stand by having made this decision. I hope that you liked it too. Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe! This is also a little bit of a meta moment for me because I often finish my videos with Love, Vanessa, Jupiter, and I think that this video has finally touched on why. Because I truly believe in the power of love. In case you didn't know before, now you do know why I finish my videos with Love, Vanessa, Jupiter. Love, Vanessa, Jupiter.